Hey food fiends, what's up? This is Misty. Today is my last weekend before heading out to our family trip. So I didn't have time to go out and show you guys another restaurant. So today I figured I'd share some tips on travel and how I save up to travel. So if you don't really know me, which most of you don't, I am a single mom. I wouldn't say I'm struggling, but I'm just trying to say that if I can do it, you can do it. So whether you're single or parents with two incomes from a mom and dad and you have kids, I think these tips can work. It may be, to be realistic, if you have a lot of kids, maybe more than 3 or 2, it would take longer to save because you're paying for more flight tickets and hotel rooms, etc., and tickets to do things, excursions, etc. So and of course, if you are having a hard time financially, maybe that doesn't apply to you. But this is for people with just a regular income. You're not rich or anything, but you have a pretty steady job, but it's still hard to treat yourself and go on a trip. So my tips for raising and saving money for a trip, I always do it once a year, try to make it a goal to go somewhere nice and have a big trip for my family, is to use your talents and try to turn that around and make some money off of it. You're not gonna make a lot of money, but you'll still make a little bit of pocket change and just keep saving increments of it. You just have to be patient and make a goal for yourself. So for me, it's not much of a talent. Anybody can do this. Some people don't want to do it, but I don't care. I will do it. I mow people's lawns and I do light yard work. It is backbreaking. I sweat, I get dirty, my back kills me at the end, but I'm willing to do it to save for my goal to go on a trip, because I know that if I work hard, the end result is going to be awesome. So I do that. I have a couple of friends that let me do yard work because they don't want to do it or they're too busy, and that's fine. So if it was a smaller yard I did last year, it was like $40 to $50, like a townhouse. And I do bigger lawns and yards for, let's say, a regular house, and then you can make up to 75 to 100 bucks doing that. And you'll spend probably an hour or two of your day on your weekend just busting it out, and you get money for it. And if you do a good job, I guess they'll hire you every so often, so you'll constantly have that coming in for you. Another thing I do, which is weird, but hey, you just figure things out and whatever works, is I make cigar boxes. So out of regular wooden cigar boxes, I make ashtrays out of them. And a lot of people buy them, mostly not from Hawaii. I have to ship it to other states, but they go from $30 to $50 each, which I'm not really making money off of it because the box itself for the cigars already costs money. The labor takes a long time to do, and the little legs and things and the end pieces also cost money, as well as the staining and all the other items you have to buy, but you still make a profit off of it. It's not a lot, but I also enjoy doing it, so it's something that if you enjoy doing, you can still make money off of it. Sorry, my dog's over there, she's coughing. I also recycle cans and bottles. I'm not sure what other states do, or other countries, but in our state you get 5 cents a can or bottle. I wouldn't say I'm hardcore, I don't go digging in trash cans or whatever for them, but what we drink and buy, I know you're already paying a fee when you buy your groceries, but some people just throw them away, and I recycle them. And if, I see something out right in front of my door, sometimes the kids in our neighborhood drink their Coke and they just dump it right there in litter, I'll pick it up and just rinse it out and put it in our recycle bin. Like I just went on Friday to take our bins to recycle to the recycling center, and we made 50 bucks about with all those cans and bottles. So that's money right there, and so we're going to use that for our spending money. It's $50, but hey, that's like a nice lunch or a dinner. Also, I used to sell food items. I don't do it so much now because I'm quite busy with work, but I like to smoke meat, so do ribs, chicken, smoked brisket, etc., and I would sell it. And I actually was having a lot of customers, so if you're good at what you do and you have like a knack for a certain thing, whether it be cooking, doing arts and crafts, you're a musician, an artist, you can find your niche and sell to a customer base. So we made a lot of money off of that, but that I don't really use for trips. That's for my son's college savings, but you can do that if you need to raise money for traveling. Other examples are my friends. I have this one friend that's really good at couponing. I don't have the talent for that, but she'll find certain deals and buy like a ton of shampoos or a ton of items that people always need, household items and toys and etc., like little cheapy ones. And what she does is she collects them over time, and then when she has a lot, she has like a yard garage sale, and people from all over come to buy this stuff that she probably got for like $5 or $1. So for like maybe 5 shampoos. So she's making money that way. You can do bake sales, you can do food items like I just mentioned. Just have a garage or yard sale. Try to clear out your house and sell stuff you don't need, because other people might find it as a treasure and pay you for it. As I said, if you have other talents such as an artist, can sell paintings if people are into that. If you're a musician, if you're just a cook, you can look at Craigslist. I've seen it before where people are looking for people to meal prep for them. So if you're a good cook, you can make some extra money part-time doing that for them on the weekend to meal prep for their week. Also, if you want to travel or anything, do anything, if you want to purchase a certain item, just make it a priority, and you have to have a goal and be disciplined. You got to cut back on your spending on other wants that you may not necessarily need, and just focus on your goal. So for this vlog, obviously it's about traveling, so I just focus on making a date towards the end of the year and then trying to save up until that date. You know, if you're into expensive cars, or you have an expensive car or something that's like draining your wallet, you might have to cut back on it and get maybe a beater that's reliable, or just don't buy your Starbucks in the morning. That adds up. I make my coffee every morning. I have to sacrifice that, but I'm used to it. I also pack my lunch every day at work, and I try not to buy lunch because that will dig into your savings, you know, or that could be, you know, every day spending $5 to $10 for a lunch or a $5 coffee. That could be going into your savings. And another thing I do is I make a separate savings account, separate from the main checking account and savings that I use. Most preferably if you could go to a bank or credit union that you don't even use, so that way it's harder for you to touch it. It's kind of inconvenient to go there and try to withdraw it. And then I also don't ask for a debit card on that separate savings. That way it makes it harder for me to touch. And then that way I just put all that money from recycling, mowing lawns, selling meats, making cigar boxes, etc., whatever birthday money we get. If you get a gift of money, just put it in the savings and you'll watch it grow, and it actually grows pretty fast if you keep putting stuff in. We also just went to the bank the other day and got our jar of coins. This is the jar. It's not too big, but this jar was full of just change, because I don't like to have change in my pocket or my bag or my wallet. So we just dump it in there, and that came out to about $102, $103 and some odd change. And the credit union we go to has a coin machine that counts it, prints out the receipt, and as long as you're a member, they do not deduct any of the money or any percentage of it. So that went straight into the account as well for our spending money, because I already paid for the trip. So this is also our spending money, but you can use it to pay off your trip. Another tip is if you want to travel on a cruise, such as we booked through the Disney Cruise Line, but it doesn't just apply with them. I believe Norwegian and Carnival does the same, where if you can book it way in advance, if you know for sure you want to travel and go to a certain area, you can book it within a year or more sometimes, and that gives you time to pay it off, because these cruise lines will let you reserve your room, etc., with a small down payment, and then you just keep logging on and you can pay in increments slowly, and you see your balance go down. So you can use your debit card and use all the money, transfer it to your main checking from that other savings, and try to pay it off either in small increments. That way you don't touch the money, so it goes straight into your the bill that you get for the cruise, or you can just save a whole bunch of money and get to your goal in that savings, then transfer it to your checking and pay it all at once, whatever you prefer. So that's a good option if you want to travel, because these cruise lines have pretty flexible payment options, so you guys can go take a cruise and go somewhere. And if you're living in the continental US, that's even better, because if you live near a port, even if you're a state away, you can drive there. Most of the ports have parking for your personal car if you live nearby, and you don't have to pay for a plane ticket, such as we have to, because we live in Hawaii, so we're going to have to fly, which sucked, but it's something I have to do. Another tip is also, if you're not into cruises, try being open-minded and look into staying somewhere in Asia. Not so much Japan or Korea. I mean, they're great places to travel to, but the US dollar's not as strong there. It's equal, kinda. So everything you spend would probably be the same as traveling in the US, or might be more. I'm thinking of places like Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, if you're adventurous, Cambodia, Laos. I've been to Thailand and Vietnam, and they're great places. If you're open-minded, they're pretty clean. They have a lot of 5-star, 4-star hotels where you get treated like a king or queen. I've never been treated like that before, and it is so cheap because our US dollar is much stronger than their currency. In Thailand, the baht is getting a bit stronger, so it's not as cheap as it was before, but you still get your dollar's worth with hotel, flight, and food, and any excursions you want to do. It is way cheaper, in my opinion, than traveling in the US, because I know when I traveled in the US, like going to Boston, the flight was already like $800 to $900, and a Holiday Inn, which was in the crappiest place, was like over $100 a night, and it's not even a good hotel. I mean, it was okay. I felt safe, but it wasn't like luxurious or anything. Whereas if you were to travel to the places I mentioned, you could be staying in a 5-star hotel, get a good flight with a different airline other than United and Delta, where they serve great food and economy, and just be blown away by the service. So for example, when I went to Bangkok, I pretty much stayed at the Le Bua State Tower, which if you watch The Hangover 2, it's in the movie, it's that fancy hotel with the sky bar where the helicopter comes in. That was the hotel. The prices went up ever since it got mentioned in the movie, but it's still relatively cheap. It's a 5-star hotel. I've never been treated that way before. You don't even touch a door, because there's always a bellman opening the door for you. Breakfast was included. Just the service was impeccable. The room was luxurious, and I could no way afford something like that traveling in the United States or anywhere else. For a week and a half at that hotel with flight was only $1,200. You probably couldn't stay that long in that type of hotel anywhere else. This time I also booked a second trip to Phuket, Thailand. We're staying in a 4-star hotel at the Novotel for 15 days with flight with Asiana Airlines, which is a great airline that also has great economy food compared to United or Delta or any other US carrier. That was $900 flat, and that was affordable to me because it's an adventure, it's a nice hotel, and I stalked Expedia and Priceline and all those websites every day to see if the price would drop, and I got it down to $900. So stuff like that, you just have to do your research and see and be open-minded about different places to travel. If you just want to get out there and take a break from life, it's totally possible if you just kind of look outside the box. So that's all the tips I have. Hopefully it helps you guys. We'll go upstairs to one of my bedrooms, and I'll show you some tips and items that we're using on this trip to make packing a little bit easier. So since we're on the topic of travel, and we are leaving soon in a couple days, I wanted to show you some useful tips or items that you can use when you're traveling. So these are some luggage cubes, and they're great organizers. I got them as a gift and I looked them up on Amazon. There's a whole bunch that are for sale, and they're not this brand, this is Utopia, but there's an Amazon brand that's pretty cheap. I think you get 4 of these bags for about $15.99. Some are $20. Others are bigger or the same size, such as this one. This is a big one for your main clothes. And then you've got smaller ones for like underwear, socks, and a medium one. So just to show you, this is like 5 days worth of clothes with pants and shirts. And if you roll them up like this, it saves space, and I think that's pretty awesome. And then you zip it up. So let me try to zip this up with one hand. There you go. Zip it up and it's nice and tidy, and it fits in the suitcase like so. And I think if you were to fold it or even roll it the same way, they start to unravel and take up too much space. So that's my clothes. This is my son's clothes, which is the medium one. That's 5 days of his stuff, including jeans and things, shirts. And then this is his socks and underwear. So that'll fit like right there. And then I was kind of worried because since we're going on a Disney cruise, it's a lot of the activities include costumes. So they have Pirate Night, and because we're going during Halloween, they have also a Halloween night. So I was worried that we wouldn't have space for our costumes, but we totally do. So this is like our pirate stuff, got the shoes, and now we can fit the hats because he's going to be Woody from Toy Story. So you totally got a lot of space. The only thing you have to worry about is because it's so neatly packed, you might go overweight even though it looks empty, because I zipped it up and I started carrying it and it's pretty heavy even though you look like you have a lot of space. And then I bought this as a tip. Most people know this, but it's in the travel section of Walmart or Target or anywhere, any big store, and it's a downy wrinkle releaser, because I guess when you're rolling your clothes like that to save space, it kind of can get wrinkled. So this, you just spray on it, makes it smell good, and all the wrinkles go away. So that'll be good too. Got the box of cigars that has to go in. If you haven't known, I'm a big time cigar snob, smoker. And then this, if you have kids, kind of gross if you think about it, but hey, when you have a toddler, sometimes they can't hold it. Got this off of Amazon, and it's a pee cup for boys. If you're a girl or you have a girl, I'm sorry, I don't know if there's an option for that, but so your boy will stick his thingy in there and pee, and then it's got a seal in there, so if it accidentally goes upside down or whatever, it won't spill. It's gross, but we're going to take a long bus ride when we're in Ensenada, and the bus does not have a restroom. So if you have a toddler, and even if you're renting a car and there's no stops, it's a good option to have because you don't want them peeing in their pants. So we're going to just take this along. I'm not sure we're going to need it, but just in case, because it would suck because that bus is not going to stop for us. So that's pretty much it for tips on what to get and to organize yourself if you're going to go on a trip. And if we didn't even have these costumes, just having these 3 things would like totally still make the suitcase empty. So if you come back from the trip and you have souvenirs and things that you buy to bring back, you'll have tons of space to put all your items in there. So hopefully these tips on how to save and raise money to travel, and how to kind of use different items to pack to make your suitcase space a little bit better and more spacious, work for you. I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but hopefully some of these tips can help somebody out there that's wanting to travel but doesn't have a lot of money. You just have to sacrifice and work really hard and really be disciplined and save every penny you got. And it works because I already booked 2 trips in less than a year's time, although I started way before a year to save, but it can happen, and I think it can happen for you too if you really want to travel. So until next time, we'll vlog the Disney cruise and our time in San Diego and Mexico, and hopefully really excited to show you guys our trip and the highlights of it. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Food Fiend.